Marv Rasmussen and this group of guys who range in age from their late 70s to early 80s don't get together very often to throw the football around.
There's a lot of farmers here. There's 5 or 6 of those guys are farmers, 7 or 8 of them. And there's a couple of us guys that are retired. All we do is hunt and fish.
This is the old timers now.
It was what they did as boys, playing high school football for the Claremont Honkers more than a half-century ago, that has forever bonded them. In 1947, Coach Bill Welsh, who was a teammate of the legendary Red Grange at the University of Illinois, started six-man football in Claremont.
Well, I tell you, we never seen a game. We've never heard one on radio or nothing. We didn't know anything about football because there wasn't any television back then.
Coach Welch, he walked in the assembly one day and he threw a football out, and somebody said, "What's that?" "Well, it's football. We're going to play it this fall."
While there weren't a lot of schools who played six-man football in the area, they played who they could, including schools in North Dakota and Minnesota. And they won 61 games in a row. That was one of 6 national records they set. One of the others was averaging 64 points a game for a season.
He had reverses, double reverses, twick reverses, hidden ball plays, and out-of-bounds plays, and he had all kinds of deceptive plays, which usually ended up in a score someplace.
While South Dakota doesn't have six-man football anymore, it's still played across this country. For example, Texas has more than 400 schools that play six-man football. But the Claremont Honkers, who played right here, still hold 6 national records in this division.
I didn't really realize what was going on as far as any records being set or something. We just didn't want to get beat. That was about it.
In 1953, Claremont did get beat when Hecla beat them 27-0, ending the streak.
The thing I remember about that game is with 2 minutes left, Bill Welch takes a timeout and he calls us all over. He says, "Guys," he said, "we're going to get beat." He says, "You show that other team the respect that they deserve." He said, "You go over there and shake their hands, and then we're going to invite them to a meal afterwards, and we're going to have a good time with these guys."
The Claremont Honkers story is told in this book called 6, which was published this year. Marv Rasmussen's son Mark wrote it.
He said he heard so many stories he just couldn't believe those were true. So then he started researching. He took every newspaper in the state, and he's got all this research, and he found out there were more things true than he thought that was true.
True stories that this group lived for a coach they'll never forget, that's defined a small community.
It's almost surreal, you know. I mean, it's been a lot of years ago. And then all this interest all of a sudden, it seems, since Marv's son wrote the book.